So I think the question for Europe is, to what extent is a second Trump presidency more disruptive to Europe, the European political order and the global order than his first? So European governments obviously are going to be tripping over themselves, either preparing for what the impact is going to be of a retribution-led Trump administration, or lining up in terms of changing really quickly, pragmatically, their approach to him. In order to be able to try at least to get him on side. I don't think he will perceive them as allies, but certainly the idea, I think, of lining them up. And there are some key points here. Obviously, America's support for Ukraine, Trump keen to try to bring an end to this, his suggestion that he can make a constructive deal with Putin and repel invading Russian forces, the boast of ending the war within a day. And I think that's a very worrying prospect for Europe. I think that looks like it makes Ukraine and its allies desperately worried that they will be forced to cede territory to Moscow in an imperfect peace settlement. And then I think the final point, of course, is the previous tough talk in the first presidential administration on NATO. And he threatened then, and I think he very well may threaten again, to curtail American support and positioning for the military alliance, because he has a completely different vision of what underpins European security as a whole, and a totally different vision of what encompasses allies and threats, and has done so since the Cold War as well. I'll just finish with world trade, obviously, because this is one of the top lines, that the enormous threat of Trump to massively jam up the tariffs as well, and that's a prime target. I think the Republicans are solidly backing him on this. The proposal, of course, of hitting China with 60% tariffs, and then tariffs on all other imports of up to 20%, including European countries. So they're going to have to not only deal with that, but figure out whether they line up behind America on that, or whether they line up behind China on that as well. So big automotive export countries like Germany selling cars to America, I would have thought very, very vulnerable to policies from Trump that are, proposing this eye-wateringly high 100% tariff on all imported vehicles. So we're a world away from where we were under Biden. I think there's going to be desperate sadness across Europe. The heads of state, apart from maybe Orban, who seems to be gloating right now, are really going to have to get their ducks in a row.